Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to do a no spoiler review of the movie Underwater. So let's get into it. So, Underwater stars Kristen Stewart and TJ Miller, and they are a part of a research team that goes down into the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest point in our ocean we can go down to right now. And they go down there and with this expedition team and they start drilling for minerals. So they're actually going a little further than 7 miles down, and when they do that, they awaken these sea creatures that we didn't know they were there, and they start attacking the research facility. And it's a fight for survival underwater, hence the title. And honestly, I really, really like this movie. I think it's good, even borderline great, which is really weird to say because I was interested in this movie and I liked the trailers, and then it came out and it got no buzz, and the reviews weren't that good, and it's doing horrible at the box office. And so I was thinking, yeah, well, it looked good, but maybe I'll end up just waiting to see it, on DVD, or if it's on Netflix, or if I can, rent it somewhere, whatever. But I ended up seeing a really late screening of it, and I was thoroughly entertained and thoroughly surprised. This movie is surprisingly well made, with great direction, great acting, amazing special effects, and the set designs were incredible. The set designs were so good that it felt like I was watching a Ridley Scott alien movie. There's many sequences where they capture the corridor and the space the team is in, and they just feel claustrophobic. They feel like at any point this creature could burst through the walls and just snatch them right up. And it was really amazing because while it's not really a horror movie, though some might label it that way, and I can totally see why, I would view it more as a tense suspense thriller because I don't like horror movies. Yet I saw this one, and of course there are a few jump scares and stuff like that. But really, this movie does a great job of selling the scariness and the unknown of what's under the sea. These people are literally walking across the bottom of the ocean in these suits, these pressurized suits that have limited oxygen, and they have a creature hunting them. And that's scary. I mean, literally, if they get a crack in their helmet, or if their suit breaches, the water alone is going to kill them instantly. Let alone now they're walking in nearly pitch blackness, with the sea creatures lurking around them, and they have to do this from just like the beginning of the movie. And literally, this movie wastes no time. At the very beginning, you're introduced to Kristen Stewart's character, and then everything just goes to hell, and the station gets destroyed. And then from like the minute 5 onward, these people are just trying to escape, and then eventually they get out into the ocean, and they have to just walk across the ocean bottom to another research facility. You're essentially going into no man's land. You're leaving one trench, walking across, and going into another trench on the other side. And it's crazy how good it was for such a simple premise and for such a short runtime, being only like 1 hour and 40 minutes. This movie was surprisingly really good, and it lasted like a long time. At no point did it feel long or did it feel too short. I was just like, yep, here's the characters, and we're going forward, and here's this great story we're going on. It's really well made and it's really condensed, which I really appreciate. There are a few downsides. One of them being T.J. Miller. He was the comedic relief, and he kind of gets typecasted as that type of character, kind of this annoying, bumbling buffoon who just cracks one-liners and tries to make levity of situations. And he does that literally from the moment he's introduced. And some of his jokes land, and some of them don't. And ultimately, I did not like his character, so that was kind of a downside. Because you're dealing with a very small, team, of comprised of like 5 or 6 members, and if you don't like one of them, well, that's kind of a pretty weak link. So you have to really have good character development. And I thought on T.J. Miller's side, it was really lacking. However, Kristen Stewart, I thought, was incredible in this movie. She does a great job leading it. And the reason why I like her so much is because these other characters that you're with, these survivors that are walking across the sea bottom with Kristen Stewart, they all say how they have families they need to get back to, or they have wives, husbands, you name it. They all have a reason to get back up to the surface, to escape everything. Whereas Kristen Stewart pretty much has no reason to fight, to go on, to save herself, or to save others. Yet she just does it because she feels a need to as a person. Her character feels a need to save others, to persevere. And I really like that because they give her some backstory, but it's never like she's a mom, she has kids, she's getting married, nothing like that. It just states her situation, and then, like I said, everything goes to hell. And I really appreciate that because it made her character more likable. It made her more likable because this person that we're following throughout the entire movie is doing good just to do good. And I thought that was really amazing that they didn't give her a significant tie to the surface, which honestly made her stand out more because, like I said, everybody else had a reason to live, and then when they get snatched up, of course, there's supposed to be more of an emotional weight when that person dies. When the husband dies at the hands of the creatures, he won't get to see his wife, or vice versa. However, when that happened, I was already being teed up to feel emotional. When they die, and people do die, you're kind of like, well, yeah, well. But if Kristen Stewart had died at the hands of the creature, I would have been like, dang, this is like a literal freedom fighter. It sucks that she's gone. There was more emotional weight behind her character not having a connection than there was behind the characters that had a connection. And I really appreciated that dynamic of the movie. But overall, I thought it was great. And one thing before I end this review is we cannot blame Kristen Stewart for how this movie's performing. It's doing incredibly poorly. Like, it's going to lose a lot of money, which is a literal shame because this movie is it's really good and it's going to get looked over everywhere. And January is considered the dumping ground in movies, which you can make an argument for and against it. It really doesn't matter to me when a movie gets released, but that's kind of just a stigma. But if this movie had released either in November or December or even pushed back to March, I think it would have done better because right now we're in the heat of Oscar season. There are nominations out, which means that those movies that got nominated are going to stay in the theaters longer. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out July 2019, and now it's being shown again in my theaters in the Midwest because of the Oscar consideration it's getting. So everyone is looking for these art films, these deep, thrillers, stuff like that. And so to release a movie like this, which is kind of a stuffed popcorn in your face type, action movie, it's good counter programming, but it's getting completely buried by all this great work. It's coming out from these amazing filmmakers. And so that really is a shame. But going back to Kristen Stewart, she just had Charlie's Angels come out in 2019, and I heard that did horribly as well, although I heard the movie was good, and I heard she was good in it. It's the same with Underwater. The movie's doing horribly, but she is really good in it, and I can confirm that because I saw the movie. I did not see Charlie's Angels. So please don't knock her. She did a great job. She's my favorite part of this movie outside of just the way they made the sets look and the special effects and, the water and stuff. Like, she was really good. She really did do a good job of leading this movie. She carried it on her shoulders. So don't knock her. I don't think she's box office poison. I mean, she's done Twilight, which she will be famous for until she passes, and even beyond that point, she'll be remembered for that. But just those movies, I don't think were a fault of her. Certainly not Underwater. So I hope she gets more work because now I honestly enjoy Kristen Stewart a little more. After seeing this movie, I really liked her, and I really saw her chops because she takes a beating in this movie as a character, and you can tell that they did a lot of this practically, and she probably did do a lot of her practical stunts. So good on her for getting down and dirty, and good on her for taking those knocks, yet literally getting back up to lead this team throughout a submerged facility that's just constantly taking on water. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's really well made. If you cannot see it in the theater, definitely write this down to rent it, to stream it, whatever. If you can see it in the theater, definitely do so. Again, the way that they set up the underwater world is amazing. They really do a great job of making you feel like you're alone in the darkness and you have a limited supply of oxygen, and it's hunt or be hunted. Well, it's more about being hunted and just surviving. But yeah, if you cannot see it in the theaters, which is tragic because it's disappearing quickly, write this down, bookmark it. Definitely, you're going to want to check this out when you can. And that is my review of Underwater. All right. So if you like this video, comment, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.